Stop what you're doing. Right now, some 22-year-old guru in a rented Lamborghini is selling you a fantasy. Okay? And that fantasy has a name. They call it dropshipping. They're telling you it's a passive, no-risk empire, right? That you're just a few clicks away from laptop money while you sip Mai Tais on the beach. Let me be the first to tell you in plain English, dropshipping is the most overrated business model of the last decade, right? First, let's talk about how it's not a business. It's not an asset, if you will, right? At best, it's a temporary, high-risk, low-margin job. And that no inventory part, yeah, that's the biggest lie of them all. Let me tell you a story about a buddy of mine. But before I tell you the story, I've put together a free tool, a checklist. It's the 7-figure mistake audit checklist. It's the exact audit that I use to vet any business model, and I use it because it exposes these scams instantly, right? And it reveals the one model that passes every single test. If you're ready to make a move, then I urge you not to make that move without your checklist, all right? Click the link in the description below to download your checklist right now. With that said, let's get back into the story. So I've got a friend. His name is Mark. Mark, he's a smart dude, right? He did everything right. He found the winning product, some weird kitchen gadget, if you will. He built a slick Shopify store. He ran the Facebook ads. And you know what? He even made a lot of sales, right? Tons of sales. And then hell arrived, right? First, the supplier in Shenzhen forgot to tell him that they were, on a 2-week holiday out there, right? So 1,000 angry emails landed in his inbox. Not the supplier's inbox, his inbox, Mark's inbox, right? Then the Facebook ad account that he was using got shut down. No reason, just poof. Gone, revenue gone, everything, right? Then the no inventory lie, that whole thing exploded in his face. See, to get any decent price margin and to stop the 6-week shipping times, the supplier offered him a deal, right? All he had to do was to essentially pre-buy 5,000 units of this gadget that he was investing in. So at this point, Mark, in his desperate spot, he drains his savings account. And 6 months later, he's got 4,000 units of a dead trend gadget in his garage. He has a maxed out credit card and a business that's worth exactly zero, right? And he didn't build a business. He built himself essentially a cage, right? The cold hard truth here is that Mark and maybe a lot of you out there are making what I call the 7-figure mistake, right? You're chasing a model that is designed to fail the moment that you stop feeding it, right? And in this episode, we're gonna prove that. We're gonna talk about it. We're putting drop shipping through the home business hustle audit, right? And it's not gonna be pretty, okay? I want to welcome you, first of all, to Home Business Hustle. I'm your host, Isai Rodriguez, and this is the only show that uses relentless financial pragmatism to expose the flaws in guru-hyped models. All right, I'm not here to sell you a dream. I'm here to give you the math, the facts, straight talk, right? In my world, my world is built on a few simple rules. And if a business model breaks these rules, then it's simple. You run. This is my hustle audit. And today we're auditing drop shipping on 3 of my core criteria: equity, duplication, and time cost. So let's get into it. Let's talk about equity. So equity is essentially ownership, right? Plain and simple. Or you can look at it from the other way around, right? Where ownership is equity. They're two sides of the same coin. But however you look at it, it's the asset part of a business asset. It's what you can sell, essentially, right? Now, answer me this. When you're a drop shipper, what is it that you actually own, right? Do you own the product? No. Do you own the manufacturing? No. Do you own the supply chain? Hell no, right? But Isaí, I own the store. Oh, really? Is that what you're saying? Is that your final answer? Listen, you're a tenant in Shopify's platform. You're a guest in Amazon's house. You know what I mean? You don't own the traffic. That belongs to Google and Facebook and YouTube and whatnot, right? The only thing that you might own is the customer list, right? That's a great thing to have. That's an excellent thing to own. But you're so busy putting out fires that you're not building the relationship that's required with these customers, right? You're not building a brand. Can you make money? Yeah, I suppose you can. Again, I know a lot of people that have built pretty large, substantial incomes through drop shipping, right? But can you make generational wealth on autopilot? That's the question. That's what I'm looking for. That's one of the things, like that's a different question, right? And here's the math that you never see is that a drop shipping store has a terminal value of 0. You can't sell it because without you running the ads and handling the chaos, it just doesn't exist. That store does not exist. So the cold hard truth is that it's not an asset. It's a job at best. You with me? I know that kind of stings. The second test is duplication. Can the system be replicated without you? Can you build a true leverage team? The gurus, they show you the screenshots of 100 sales in a day, and that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. But what they don't show you is the 100 customer service tickets, right? On the back end. They don't show you the 100 fulfillment orders that have to be checked and verified and packed and all this stuff. The 100 potential shipping errors, right? Here's the thing. This model doesn't scale with systems. It scales with headaches, right? You don't have duplication. You don't have, you have delegation. If anything, you have to hire a VA to check the supplier's work, right? You have to hire someone to answer the angry emails that are created by choosing a bad supplier, right? You're not a CEO, essentially. You're a middle manager at best at a failing department store, and you're also the only employee, right? You see, a real business is built on a system that duplicates, and drop shipping is a model that's built on you running on a hamster wheel. It's by definition linear, right? Now let's talk about the time cost lie, and the inventory nightmare, if you will. This is a big one. This is huge with drop shipping. And it's, the myth is this, is that it costs, first of all, that it costs $0 to start. The reality is that it's a high risk job with huge inventory costs, right? How can both be true with this though? Phew. That's because the gurus are lying to you, right? I hate to be the one to tell you this, but they start by telling you that, that there's no inventory. But again, the cold hard truth is that you can't compete without inventory. Every store, every business needs to sell something, right? So you need inventory, and if you want 2-day shipping, you have to pre-buy inventory and stick it into, a US-based 3PL, right? You want any margin, then you have to pre-buy in bulk, right? Want any type of control, you have to pre-buy, period, right? The model forces you to take on inventory risk, or you lose to the 10,000 other people that are selling the exact same product. Are you with me? Hey, but let's say that you don't need to buy inventory. Let's just say, that you don't need inventory. Then where's the cost, right? I'll tell you where. It's in advertising, right? This isn't a business. It's literally, how do I put this? It's an ad spend arbitrage game, right? You're gambling with your money, with your business. You're betting $100 on Facebook ads, on Google ads, and hoping to make 110, 120 back before your product costs, before your platform fees, and before the 30% of the customers who demand a refund for the cheap junk that you send them, right? Your time cost is infinite, because the moment that you stop running ads, right? The moment you stop finding the next winning product, right? The next fad gadget, whatever. The moment that you stop answering emails, right? That's when the entire business collapses. It evaporates, right? It implodes. It falls in on itself. Are you with me? It fails. Dropshipping fails all these three tests. Now, think about it. Like, there's no equity, no duplication. It has catastrophic time cost involved, right? It is without a doubt a 7-figure mistake in my eyes. All right. And again, I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying, I know plenty of people that have sort of figured it out, right? But I hear the nightmare stories that come along with those victories, right? And there's a lot more of them than victory stories. I know there are people out there that have made money in this world and with drop shipping. I know it's possible, but at what cost, right? You with me? To me, the problem is clear. The guru model is broken, right? They're designed to make them rich, not you, right? So what does pass the audit here? Like, what model gives you true equity, that's an asset that grows without you? What model has duplication built into its DNA? What model has a low one-time cost that pays you for years in advance, right? Because I trust me, there is a model for sure. One that's been proven for over 60 years, long before the internet, right? One that's requires zero inventory, and this time for real, right? The real type of no inventory. One that requires one that requires zero cold calling. One that has zero platform risk, right? One where you don't chase trends. You actually become the trend setter, if you will, right? It's one that's scores 4 out of 4 on the hustle audit. Look, in fact, I've put together a free tool for you, a checklist. It's the 7-figure mistake audit checklist. It's the exact audit I use to vet any business model. It exposes these scams instantly, and it reveals the one model that passes every single test, right? And I'm not going to tell you what it is right here, right now. That's not how it works, right? You have to enter the world. You have to want the solution. That's part of the process, right? The checklist is the first step. It's the red pill, if you will, right? Follow the link in the description right now. Get the free checklist. Audit your own hustle, right? And stop making 7-figure mistakes. All right. That's it for this episode. I'm not giving it all away. This is the Home Business Hustle podcast. I want you to stay sharp and stop trading time for money. All right. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care now. Bye.